It's that time again. It's the Berkey and the Badger Board Game Babble Show. It's gonna get wild. It's gonna get wacky. It might even get a little zany. We're gonna talk about board games and the board game industry. And, you know, we might talk about anything else we want to talk about.
Ladies and gentlemen, would you please rise for your right honorable King, King Berkey?
Hello, Babblot, and welcome to Berkey's and Badger's Board Game Babble Show. And I, the wonderful kingdom of Babblot, I am your rightful honorable ruler, King Berkey, and I'm the host of this elegant podcast, which is streamed live via YouTube direct from Babblot, where everyone is a board game enthusiast, from your humble king right down to the lowest of lowest chamber pot cleaner. Talking of the lowest of low, here is my co-host and court jester, Badger.
Hold on a sec, I've got a bit more. There's something brown stuck on the bottom of this one. Hello everyone, welcome to episode 58. Yay! In this show, we will talk quickly about what's been happening here in Babblot. We're going to be doing a roundup on rumours going around in the board gaming world in the section of things that make us go, this inflection, and then we're going to be in some first impressions of games, new games that we've been played,
We have been playing.
New games that we have been playing.
Way too many times, like an old player piano.
And
like remotely played. We've been taken over by aliens.
We have indeed. Look at me drink this alien green blood.
Vulcan blood.
Oh,
live long and prosper.
There's a finger in that one. Yes, so we're going to give our first impressions in our the good, the bad, and the ugly section of new games that we've played for the very first time. And then we're going to finish off with our Babble topic, our section of looking for love, which is all about games.
Looking for wub in all the wrong places. Looking for wub. That wascally wabbit.
Never stop looking. Never stop looking for Linda. Looking out for Linda.
I think what the problem was...
We're going to get copyrighted.
I think the problem was Elmer Fudd and Bugs Bunny, they just weren't compatible. No. They did one of those personality test things and it just didn't work.
A bit like the seat of the president and... Anyway, yeah, we're good.
I think it had something to do with carrots.
Yeah, I think it had something to do with carrots as well. He looks like a carrot.
Yeah, that's good. It's all good.
Carrot with grey hair. In the Babble section, we're going to be babbling about games that we love, but they are left propping up our beds. There you go, sire.
Yeah, that's going to actually be a really good... Yep, you had it right, Don. Lyles is in the house, in the chat, and he knew exactly what I was doing.
Was he? Okay.
So tell us, Barry, what's been happening in your part of Babblot?
Oh, sire, you wouldn't know the things that happen in my part.
Why do you keep calling me Josiah?
No, not Josiah, my sire. Sire.
Oh, sire.
Sire. Yes, you're my king. You're my
sire.
Sire.
No, I don't want to be your sire.
I'll show you the burn, sire. Show you to learn.
Hey, Tom is in the house. How you doing, buddy? Can't wait to see you guys at Origins.
Yeah. Oh, so let's start with you then. What's going to be happening in Babblot in your corner of the kingdom, which is the nice plush section?
Well, my corner of Babblot is like been crazy, unbelievable. If any of you walked in my shoes, you'd know my shoes are full.
If I walked in your shoes, I'd stumble in your footsteps.
Well, that's what I meant to say, but yes. No, it's just been fantastically crazy with Game Toppers. Of course, our Kickstarter was really successful. Pre-orders are flying in. People are getting their Game Toppers and are just gushing with how much love they're just having so much fun, but that creates a tension for everybody that hasn't gotten theirs yet. And we've delivered about 350 of our backers, and so it's very exciting. Incredible amount of work. One of my backers said, Berkey's doing the job of 10 guys. And I said, well, I don't know if it's 10, but it's definitely 3. So it's been pretty crazy, but on the other side of it, so gratifying, so exciting. Our Facebook page, Game Topper Nation, people are posting their pictures and their experiences, and that's bringing me more joy than I can even talk about. So that's been fantastic. And part of all of that is, we're right in the middle of our fulfillment, but we're getting ready to go to Origins. Woo. Well, when I get ready to go to Origins, people have expectations. You're supposed to go, what expectations are they?
Oh, sorry. I was thinking of a song. I was thinking, expectations let me down, but I'm still here. I'm still here. I'm still here. Oh, yeah.
Well, the last 2 conventions, expectations did let people down, because guess what? When Berkey was there was no Happy Mouth jerky there. Because Berkey hasn't had any time, but last night at 10 o'clock at night, what was I doing?
Brushing your teeth?
I was cutting up all my meat to make the jerky, so it's been marinating all night. And soon as we are done with this podcast, my smoker will be smoking, and Origins attendees who happen to mention it to me may or may not be able to partake of some jerky.
Well, couldn't you get Polly from the cuisine to do that for you, sire?
Why do you keep calling me Josiah?
I'm not going to... You're getting higher. What have you been drinking?
I don't want to be your sire, okay?
You've been fumigated by Happy Mouth. And then you'll become... It's like a drug. It's like, woohoo!
No, it's going to be fantastic. My Burke's Happy Mouth jerky is smoked with apple and cherry word. Yeah, Don, that is my son's name. That's why, anyway. So this special seasoning that I do every year for Origins and Gen Con has gotten to be kind of a thing. So if you ever listen to the Secret Cabal Gaming podcast, there's some fantastic stories about Chris, one of the founders, who has had an affinity to take a bag or so of my Happy Mouth jerky and distribute it in generous, copious amounts of quantities.
If you've just tuned in...
No, so I'm getting ready to do that. I am loading up all of my Game Topper stuff, and we are going to be at the Mayday Games booth. 40 feet, 20 by 40 feet of Game Topper fun. You can come to the booth. It's booth number 400. I'll be there. I'd love to talk with you. And we're going to have our Game Toppers showing them off. But we're partnering with Mayday Games on this particular convention. They've got this new game coming out called Poetry Slam. And it's going to be made available at Origins. And if you buy Poetry Slam at Origins, guess what? This is cool. You get this. This thing is twice as big as my head. So you can fit 2 of me in here, or 2 of my heads in here, whatever you like.
What is it?
Well, it is a game bag.
Ooh.
Look at this bad boy. It has a front pouch so you can put smaller games. You can fit up to 4 games in here. It's padded, it's even insulated, and then it zips up. And so it's a little bit nicer than most of the tote bags that you see out there. And so if you order Poetry Slam, you're actually going to get this whole tote bag, $20 value, free, courtesy of Game Toppers and Mayday Games. And so they are not a sponsor of ours or anything like that, but I love the guys there. They've been just so fantastic to work with, and it worked out that we were able to share that booth together. So super excited about that and hoping to meet a lot of people at Origins.
When you said a new game from Mayday, I was a bit worried that it was going to be Catan 8-player version.
Mayday, not Mayfair.
Oh yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
I'm sinking like a sinking boat. Mayday, help me.
And Ben Lunches is in the house.
Oh, hello, Ben.
He says, I really need one of those. Well, I know a guy, Ben.
Oh, dearie me.
So what's been up in your part of Babblot?
In my pit, wallowing away here in the lower spoils of Babblot, not a lot has been happening. You know, there's been a bit of chucking of stuff out windows, you know, and you got to dodge that. But anywho, no, not really much. I've been doing I recently done a Kickstarter video for Neta-Tanka, which is up on Kickstarter right now, so I'm going to do a plug for that. Neta-Tanka is a worker placement game where you are actually all working together to do good deeds around your tribe to get generosity points, which will win you the game and get you promoted as the new Neta-Tanka. It's a very nice classic style worker placement with some nice twists like area control, and also this other thing which I've totally forgotten about, but it's got area control. And also, yeah, the other thing is, as I said, you're helping each other out. So one person's doing one action, which if they don't do it, the other players don't get to do their actions because there's no resources supplied by the first player. So it's a case of, you know, timing and everything. So, yeah, it's up on Kickstarter. It's doing very well at the moment, and lots of nice add-ons like a fifth player, a solo mode, kind of dual layer boards with the little recesses, nice wooden components which have been upgraded, and lots more stuff to come. So if that sounds like your cup of tea, it's definitely my cup of tea, and that's Neta-Tanka, which is up on Kickstarter from La Boîte de Jeux.
Yeah, I've been hearing a little bit about that. It looks good.
Oh, what little bit did you hear?
Just the name and some of the pictures, and read a little bit about it, and the artwork looked good and looked like it was a fun little game, pretty quick.
I didn't mean to put you on the spot there.
I haven't researched it. In fact, I think that's one of the things that's been good and bad about, you know, the success of Game Toppers. It's become such a consuming thing for me on the business side of things. I'm just working 12 and 14 hours a day, and a lot of times 6 to 7 days a week. You know, here on Sunday, I'll be working all night today, so, and then driving right to the convention. I just don't have the time that I used to have to consume media. I don't have the time to play games. So it's been a little weird for me when my hobby has turned in from my entertainment to my job. And so there's a little bit of a transition there, but I know going forward, after we get through fulfillment, I'll be able to bring a team together so that it won't be so all-consuming as it is now. But that's part of the thing. I haven't been able to, you know, I used to watch a ton of videos. I hardly ever watch any videos anymore. I just don't have the time, you know.
That's your little baby, and my little baby does the same to me. My little baby, it sucks up all of my time. I have to go and pick him up at the nursery, put him in the nursery, feed him when he comes home, and look after him when he comes home, make sure the house is clean when the wife comes back. And so, yeah, my media consumption has reduced as well. And it's like, in a way, it's kind of like a breath of fresh air, because when you do see some media, it's like, oh, that's an interesting idea. Ooh, that looks nice. I'd never heard of that.
I always do make it a point, however, to watch board games. Everybody should Patreon the month back.
The double back monthly.
What do you call it? The talk, what?
Yeah, my blog. My double back monthly.
Yeah, but what's
blog.
it called again?
The Double Back Monthly.
The Double Back Monthly.
Yes.
I love that show. I always listen to it. You talk about what you've been doing, the reviews that you've been doing, and that little Patreon video that you make, it's fantastic. I mean, I love that. So whenever you put that out each month, I always take a listen to that. So.
Oh, you're so sweet.
I know, very nice.
Oh, and you know what? At the moment, Patreons are being entered into a prize draw to win board games now, so...
I'm always watching you, Wazowski.
Wazowski!
I got my eye on you.
I got my eye on you, Wazowski.
we should probably talk real quick about our sponsor. We have two sponsors. We have Academy Games and Arcane Wonders. And right now on Kickstarter, Academy Games has the new Euro game, Tudor. And Tudor is an amazing game. I had an opportunity to play it, actually, at Geekway of the West. And it was one of their prototype versions, but was able to enjoy the nuance of that worker placement system. I thought it was really innovative. I haven't actually seen a worker placement system work like that, where maximizing the seats that are on the, I'm probably going to talk about it here a little bit later, but there are seats that the nobles fill, and if you have a noble in that table, you also get 2 actions, but you can be bumped off by the other players. So it's really quite a deal. It's on Kickstarter right now. There's only, I believe, 8 days left. Academy Games, Tudor. Barry's trying to pull it up, but doesn't look like he can pull it up.
Yes, I can. Now I remember what the name is.
It's got these really cool player shields with 5 fingers. Okay, now yours shows it in euros, 68,000. Only 7 days left. 1,181 backers. What's that in US?
In US, it's 80,000.
About 80,000. Yeah, there's only about a week left. But guys, I think this is a really fantastic implementation. You can see all the miniatures that have been unlocked. You can see there the nobles sitting in those spaces trying to jump over to get to the seat of power. And then each one of these rings also give you special abilities in certain combinations. You know, if you've got the thumb and the pinky, you get to do something different than if you have the 2 forefingers, so forth. Anyway, really cool implementation. Check out Tudor on Kickstarter by Academy Games.
Things that make us go, Board game news. Berkey and Badger reflect on the current events that are happening in the board game industry. Some may be good, some may be bad. But there are all things that make us go,
Things that make you go, Is there something special that Badger that you were seeing?
I saw something the other day, and well, not the other day, well, a little while ago, and I forgot to mention it on a previous show. But games come out on Kickstarter, and it's like, wow, that's great. You know, crowdfunding. They build up this buzz. This game gets some hype, and this game gets some funding, and this game gets lots of extra bits added to it, and it's made into a big thing. But one thing I never considered is a game can go on a Kickstarter, and it can also go on to another crowdfunding site and another crowdfunding site to get even more funds and kind of go to a different audience. And I found this with Joan of Arc, which is a game by Mythic Games. They did a successful Kickstarter. I think it was the beginning of the year, around February.
Yeah, I missed that one. I really wanted to get in on that.
But recently, they put it up on a French crowdfunding site called Game on Your Tabletop, and again, it raised a load more money. So, it's obviously 2 different audiences. There's that Kickstarter audience, who are kind of like, I think, I would say majority American-based audience. And as I said, this Game on Tabletop crowdfunding site is a French crowdfunding site. And so, again, it's a different audience, and it's generated a bucket load more money for the game, which means that a load more copies can be made. Now, obviously, you know, some people can read that in a bad way, in a bad light, and think that maybe there's something wrong there. You know, you could make all this art and publicize your game and set it up on various crowdfunding sites, get all this money, and then run away. Run away! Sorry.
Run away.
Name that film.
That was funny.
Fishy Lavash. I think it's also nice as well because, as I said, it seems like there's two different audiences, or maybe many more audiences. People that go to Kickstarter, but because that's the biggest one. But there's also these other little crowdfunding sites, and that made me go And I'm just wondering if you know any games that you've. Is anyone in the chat knowing any games which have gone on several?
No, but I did see one other project that did that exact same thing, and at first I thought it was a mistake in advertising, and then when I researched it a little more, sure enough, and they were able to raise almost as much as on Indiegogo as they did on Kickstarter.
All right.
And that surprised me. So that made me go, a little bit too. But like you said, they're different audiences, different marketing arms, different customer loyalty, so brand loyalty, if you will, even.
Yeah.
So that's kind of interesting. I think gamers are pretty indoctrinated to Kickstarter, and the things that have tried to go onto Indiegogo have had, interesting levels of success. Rodney Smith, he uses Indiegogo, but last year the Dice Tower tried it, and they weren't quite so thrilled and went back to Kickstarter.
Yeah.
So, it's an interesting thing. It may be that starts happening more and more because, publishers want to sell more games. That brings it down for all of us, and you want to reach as many people as you possibly can.
Yeah. So, look out for games anywhere, not just Kickstarter.
Yeah, interesting. Well, I had something that made me go, and it kind of brought me back to my childhood a little bit, or at least my young adulthood, and it's that it just said that Carcassonne is coming to Nintendo Switch with more modern board games to follow.
Ooh.
Now, I remember, when Nintendo first came out and all that kind of stuff, and for me, it was exciting to see that Monopoly was going to be on. And I could play Monopoly on Nintendo, and I could play cribbage, and some of these games that we played a lot of. So I was excited when I saw this. It made me go, So now the modern games are going to come to a platform that's very accessible because Nintendo isn't like overly complicated with the controls.
No.
In my mind anyway. So I think that could open up a whole different audience to the board gamers out there, and bring more people into the hobby because of the digital platform. So I think it's kind of cool.
Yeah, it would be good. See it on the Xbox with the VR vision. So you're actually 3D in the world, and you actually got to pick up the piece and place it in the right spot. But yeah, that's
VR
great.
Board gaming.
Yeah, I can't remember who's doing that. I saw someone do that. I saw a video somewhere. I can't remember. Oh well. But yeah, Nintendo, thumbs up. They're coming up with some really great ideas, as well as bringing out some good board games onto your Nintendo, not just Catan, not just Monopoly. Sorry.
Tom made a real interesting comment about your dual funding approach. He says, as long as they are clear about that they're splitting their funding approaches and how they do fulfillment, I see no problem. And so I think that's a good point there, because different pledge managing causes things to be handled differently, and you wouldn't want to have one have a priority over another. So being able to integrate both platforms in a way that's fair, that could be a real tricky thing.
Yeah, especially with unlocking stretch goals. I mean, if you unlock X amount of stretch goals on Kickstarter but not the same on another site, then there's a bit of unjust there. But
yeah, that would be crazy hard too. I
think with Joan of Arc, they give you all the stretch goals that were unlocked with the Kickstarter, so it's just opening up more sales. It's just another shop front.
Yeah, I think it's almost you have to have one standardized product that simply just goes out, and they all go out in the same efficient manner. Having things that are customizable and backer levels and all that could get real complicated real quick. The good, the not so bad. That's ugly.
Oh, yes.
Ugly.
You want to explain the,
I don't always get to play the games I want, but when I do, I play Desagi's.
So what's that meme from?
It's from that Desagi's guy that they canned.
Oh.
He's the world's most interesting man. And then at the end, he always says, I don't always drink beer, but when I do, I drink Desagi's. And then they canned him for this other guy who stinks. I think he stinks, in my opinion. He's supposed to be interesting, but he stinks. This guy's interesting. He's older. He's got a beard. He's got a little crinkle in his forehead like I have. That's an interesting man right there.
And a pocket full of Happy Mouth.
A nice cigar in his hand. That's an interesting man. There's a story behind that face.
Yeah.
He climbed Mount Everest. He did all kinds of cool stuff.
Go to the not so bad meme.
And the not so bad, I mean, it's got this Kaiser Schmidt, I think, on top of the airship from Scythe and the bear, or is that the wolf? It's the wolf.
It's the wolf. Wolf is the wolf.
Yeah, the wolf says that he's like the big bad wolf. Yeah, I'm not sure I'm comfortable here. It's fine. Relax. It's fine.
Dumb boy.
And the ugly. Why can't we just play Blood Rage again, okay? I'll take it easy on you this time.
Yeah, that's with your Blood Rage beard, and that's a nice, sexy picture of you with your Blood Rage beard.
That is a luxuriant beard, I gotta tell you.
You look more sexy now.
You think I'll get one of those luxuriant beards again?
I wouldn't, sire. It's not worth the scissors that it's painted on.
Well, there it is.
So, our good, the bad, and the ugly section. What we do is we talk about brand new games that we've played for the very first time, but we do it in a kind of gamey way. We kind of do a vague description of the game and see if the other can guess what the game is. And then we sum up the game, and then the other person has to guess whether we think it's a good game, a not so bad game, or an ugly game. And a good game is a game that you're going to play time and time again. A not so bad game is a game that you don't mind playing. If it comes your way, you'll play it again. And an ugly game is a game that you will never touch again.
Exactly.
Yes, we should Photoshop Berkey in a Viking beard. On me?
No. You take my Viking beard and put it on Barry's mug.
It's a shame the Google Toolbox isn't working. They used to do that. Wow.
Oh, yeah, you used to do that. You used to play with that stuff all the time. Now it's all gone. It's all in the past. So which one have you been playing?
Okay, I'm going to start with... because I've got a big list here. So I'm going to start with this one here. Okay. In this game... and you at home can try and guess as well. And that means you in the chat. Come on, Don. I know Kabuki's not here. You're going to have to stand in for Kabuki.
Don, Tom.
Or maybe Ben will. So, in this game, you're going to be pushing cubes around a very big board. This big board has a nice big picture of America. And America has been divided into... 2 zones. There's a lower zone and there's a higher zone, and the pressure is on Don Lyles. And then you've got Canada, and Canada is a safe zone, and you're trying to move these cubes from the bottom of the board into the lower part of America, and then through to the upper part of America. I know what it is. And into Canada.
Pick me.
Yeah, you're the first one to put your hand up. Come on. Oh, Don, you let down. What do you think it is then, Berkey?
Well, anybody in the chat have an idea? Crickets. Waiting. Edit this out. NAFTA, the board game. Believe me, it'll be huge. Building a huge wall.
I'm going to make Twitter huge. I'm going to add another 30 characters. Gonna be huge. It's gonna be Twitterer.
Well, I think Tom has it right. It's Freedom, the Underground Railroad by Academy Games.
It is indeed my first Academy Games game.
Wow.
I've never played an Academy Games game.
We have to fix that because these games are fantastic.
I thought I'd fix it. I had a choice of many other games like A Massive Darkness, or I could have played Zombicide, or I could have played Blood Rage, but I chose to play Freedom: The Underground Railroad. In the game, you are trying to help slaves escape
from the slave masters,
from their slave masters, and get them into Canada. And it's a kind of it's a cooperative game where you'll be collecting some tokens, and these tokens have actions on them. You're paying for these tokens, and then everyone will be using their tokens to do these actions, and these actions will either just move a token one space, or move move a cube one space or two spaces, or move several cubes one or two spaces. And then there's also another token which does something else, which I've forgotten about. But you're basically just trying to move these cubes up and up through this map, through cities and through routes. But every time that you move a cube onto a route which is coloured, that hunter tracker person is going to move one space in the direction of wherever that cube is.
Yeah, because sometimes the slave masters, they start moving in a certain direction. You got to decide whether you can go the other direction, because you kind of know how long it's going to take them to get there.
Yeah.
Right?
So it's a kind of tug of war. You're moving these cubes to move these tokens left and right and back and forth without them touching another cube, because if they touch a cube, that slave has been caught and sent back to the boat. And if you get too many people back into circulation, because you keep adding more and more cubes to the board, X amount will be thrown away and caught. And you've got these number levels. You'll either got to make 30 people escape, but if 15 are re-caught and trapped or killed or whatever it is,
right,
you lose the game. It's a very kind of Pandemic, but it's nicer than Pandemic. It's a better puzzle than Pandemic, especially when you're working together. You're trying to balance your money, because there's like 3 different eras of the game, so the powers get more powerful and the game gets harder, and there's these cards which you can buy as well, which will either hinder you or help you. It's really kind of good puzzle game for a group, which will lead me into what do you think I think about this game.
Oh, you think it's good? No question.
I did think it was good. I really enjoyed it. I am worried about replayability. We played it on the very hard level, and we beat it.
You
so
did?
Like, yeah.
Oh, it's not that easy.
We did it easily. I think we were supposed to do like 27, but we rescued about 35 people, and only 6 were caught. Yeah, it was really a really good brain burner puzzle. I'm a bit worried about replayability now, because, as I said, this is the hardest level. Where'd you go from there?
I've only played it a couple of times, but both times there was an incredible amount of tension. Like, we barely made it.
Yeah. We had about 1 or 2 takebacks. Where you go, oh no, let's not move that cube there. Let's move it back. Let's move that back there. But we did that twice. But a great brain burner puzzle for a group of people that want to work together. I think it's a great introductory game as well. It may be a bit heavy for newbies, but it was nice.
I thought too, Academy Games is noted for their historically accurate games, and handling a sensitive topic like this too is, it's a difficult challenge to be able to do that well. And Academy Games did this incredibly well, very thoughtfully handling the subject matter, likewise providing the historical context in a way that was really helpful, just from the thematic part of the game. And so, this potentially could be a difficult thing for some folks to play, but I would, from my perspective anyway, I thought Academy Games did a really brilliant job bringing that in an educational light in a way that helped you understand what was happening in that era with the historical cards and all the different events, the historical people who were involved. And so they use this game, and they've won many awards for that. I can't name them off the top of my head, but because of the academic value of the game as well as the good, fun gameplay.
Yeah, and don't think that it's all about the theme. But we were playing, the theme wasn't really there for me. It was just a puzzle game. I was like, we need to get this cube here, put it there and move that there and jump that one too. And it was just a kind of, a puzzle game with tug of war in the middle and these powers and, cooperation between the other players. I'll take this token because that's the only token I can afford kind of, play. And there was no kind of like, what's the alpha gamer syndrome, even though I'm not the cleverest one in my group.
Yeah, no, that's how I felt too, because I'm generally not a co-op person, but I really enjoyed that game.
Yeah. So there you go. Freedom, the Underground Railroad. Stop shaking the table.
Well, I have played a game that has to do... You see, I'm pointing...
That line in the middle of your head.
I don't...
What have we told you about your phone? Because...
Well, I didn't even do anything, and it just Siri got on there and said was going to ask me something. I shut her down, though. It's okay.
You used your telepathic ability to talk to her. You did that, and you went... And Siri answered.
Don says with gray hair, of course. No, basically, this game, you have cards that are going basically up to 100. It's a small game. And you're trying to guess between your group of people, and nobody can talk about it. Nobody can talk about what's happening. You're doing pick me, pick me. But basically, you're trying to put your card in sequence above the last one that was played, but you don't know what's in your other player's hands. And so, without being able to say anything, you are trying to read body language where people, maybe they try to... Oh, and then there's I forget the name of these things. I should remember them. There's like these chances that you can, they call them Sakaras or something like that. That probably gives it away. But this game, I played, we ended up playing it 3 times. It was quite a deal. So this was at Geek Way of the West. Last time I played a game, by the way. So... Badger, I think you know what it is.
Yeah.
Now, Ben Lunches says the game, but you're wrong. Hey,
Yep.
Kabuki Kid's in the house. She's late, but she's here. You missed all the funny, though, Kabuki. You missed all the funny. You'll have to go back and watch it, because there ain't any more funny coming. Well, maybe there is.
There will be. Yeah, as soon as you said 100 cards, I thought, well, it can't be the game, even though the game is the same. But the recent game, which is pretty much the same, is The Mind.
The Mind.
Well done, Ben.
The Mind.
You read my mind.
It's a terrible thing to waste.
Now, I'm going to say that you like this game. This is a good game for you because you played it 3 times.
Played it 3 times. What if they made me play it?
Yeah, what if you were sponsored to play it?
Because I'm very animated. I'm always doing this,
All right.
They had to strap me down and made me play it. No, you're right. It's good.
Yay!
Yay! Good. Well, I don't always get to play games, but when I do,
Yeah.
I play The Mind.
So what's so good about putting numbers in order?
I don't know. This was so quick and easy to teach, but it was like there was this great enthusiastic joy that everybody would have when we guessed right. And you could keep playing rounds, and you're trying to get more rounds of this where you go through the deck. And there was a couple times we got up to 7, I think, rounds. So it was pretty good where we were being able to read one another, and it was like, okay, this person's out, but now we have, what do they call those things? The Shikaras or Shurikens? Shurikens. It's basically a do-over, right? And you have so many of those, but they get expended, and so the tension gets greater and greater. So that decision that you're going to make, and everybody's trying to get their card in there, but okay, there's a break from 68 to 78. Does someone have a 76, or do they have that 79? Or whatever. You know what I'm saying? They're just slightly over, and you don't want to go in there because someone could be in between, and then you lose. But when you get it right, it's so exciting and gratifying, and everyone goes, "Yeah, let's do it again."
Real tension game.
And now this is a Spiel des Jahres nominated game, is that right?
Yes, it is.
I like it. I like it a lot. I think it's going to be a big hit. I know it's up against Azul, which I think is fantastic and a hard one to beat, but it might have the legs to beat it because it's getting so much buzz.
Yeah. Have you played the game?
The game?
The game.
No.
Okay.
Is it from the same company?
I think it is. It has like the same kind of art and the same idea, the same font for the numbers, and you're basically trying to get numbers in either going downwards or upwards, and you can play a card which will, as long as it's 10 above or 10 below, you can go backwards, so to speak, and then continue playing in sequence, and it's just a case of getting rid of all the cards in the deck.
I don't know. It might be, Tony's in the house. He's saying it's kind of like an activity, and maybe it is, but I don't know. It's definitely an activity, but it's a game activity,
Yeah, it's like sorting out your board games in alphabetical order, and then putting them in publisher order, and then putting them in order of your favorite, and then putting them in order of size.
Well, it's a. Yeah, I don't. You think of No Thanks. No Thanks has that kind of push your luck type of element. I consider it a game. I think that's a kind of an interesting topic to even talk about.
Yeah.
What we classify games and not, but I don't know. I sure enjoyed it.
Yes, good. Okay, my next game. Let's see if you can guess this one.
All right.
In this game, players are kind of like barbarians, and they're going to be looting and pillaging to collect bits and pieces. In the game, there'll be a number of dice that are rolled, and each dice is a different color. And then each player in turn will choose one of these dice with the value. Now, the value corresponds to either a number of resources of that color or a number of cards of that color. If you go for the cards, you take that number of cards and you use one of them. And some of these cards are treasure cards, which will give you bonus points at the end of the game. Some of these cards are warriors that will fight with you as long as you give them resources. So they give like a special ability. Some of these are nasty cards which will just attack all the players, and some of them are very nasty cards, are like a curse that you will plague that you can place on a player, and they can't get rid of it unless they use some of their resources. Now, as I said, resources, you can either take the cards or you can take the resources. These resources are going into chariots, and these chariots are color coordinated. So they might have like 2 yellow, 1 red, and 2 black. And if you get the resources of those, that counts as points at the end of the game. You fill that chariot, and then you get another chariot to fill. The game keeps going until there's no resources left of one color, or there's no cards of one color, and then you count your points. It's very light. It's very quick playing. You can probably play it in about 30 to 40 minutes. And as I said, it's about pillaging and being a barbarian.
Yeah, it seems like I've heard of this.
Nobody in the chat has it. This game is related to probably Genghis Khan. Clue?
Oh, Marco Polo.
Sorry, Marco who?
Marco Polo.
Polo. No?
No, you don't get cards for that, really. Well, you kind of do.
That's a worker placement. This is an allocation game where you
and you don't play it that quick. Yeah, I'm not so sure.
Okay, I will tell you what it is. It's a game called Huns from the La Boîte de Jeu. As I said, you are barbarians. It's a very quick and easy game. starting player will roll these dice, and they have values of 1, 2, and 3 on them. And as I said, you'll take resources of either color. It's basically that. You're just taking resources or taking cards, which will either help you or hinder the other players. And you're trying to fill up your chariots with resources of particular colors to get points.
I've never heard of it either.
Wow, Kabuki doesn't ever heard. I'll go and get it. It's over there.
Are they going to have some kind of U.S. distribution, another partner?
Probably. It's probably going to come to the US as well.
Wow.
Does it look familiar? Got another game pretty much like that called Ilios. They've recently, I think it's gone to the States as well.
Huh, it looks interesting. I like your description. Yeah, I think you like this kind of game. I'm going to say good.
Yeah, it is good. I like it. It's light, it's fluffy, it's a filler game kind of thing. Takes probably a bit longer to set up and explain it than it does to play it. But yeah, it's just a light, fluffy game with some fantastic art. A very simple idea of, you either take the resources or the cards. And again, it's, if someone takes the red dice, you can't take the red dice that turn. Again, it's interesting when you play 4 players because there are 5 dice, so the start player gets basically 2 turns. And again, if you play 3 players, the start and second player get 2 turns taking stuff. So, yeah, a really nice, all in all, nice production. Quick, easy scoring at the end as well. So
yeah, it sounds good. Looks good too.
Yeah, look out for that.
Well, I have been. Can I have some Star Trek theme music?
Okay.
Classic, please.
Oh, right. Oh, do you want the...
That's the one. You got it. See, only here at the Berkey and Badger Board Game Babble Show will you get that kind of production.
Yeah, that's
not
amazing
easy to
because
find,
we're in the medieval ages here in Babblot Kingdom, and yet we...
Yeah, but we've got a time machine.
Oh, yeah.
And a hot tub.
I haven't seen that. Oh, dear.
Okay, so we're in space, and in the void of space, there are dungeons. Dungeons that must be crawled, and you must gather wonderful items within these
without making
spaces.
A noise. Yeah? Without going clank.
And once you do, you must flee in a very quick fashion through portals to jump into your space pod to get off of your dungeon that is being catastrophically destroyed by monstrous aliens. A little bit of a whimsical description, but...
It is whimsical, because it could be Galaxy Truckers with one of the expansions. It could be...
True.
It could be Clank in space. I'm more inclined to think it's Clanking in space, because it's a recent game.
It is Clank in space! You're correct.
Yay!
Okay, so now this is the trick. Clank in space. I love regular Clank in space. I like the deep sea adventure, our sunken treasure part of Clank, regular Clank. Okay?
Yeah.
But now we've got Clank in space, which you're delving deeper into the space station, trying to collect things. Okay? But you have these portals. The deck building is slightly different. It feels like there's a little bit more ability to call your deck if you haven't. This is a deck building type of game for those of you that haven't played regular Clank. You're trying to basically get artifacts, things that are going to give you points at the end of the game. And if you're one of the first people to escape, you're going to get extra points for that. The problem is you have these monsters that are coming in, and soon as one of these monster card comes out in the player deck that everyone is cooperatively drawing from, what's going to happen is you're going to have to pull tokens from this bag. There's some neutral tokens, which are all black tokens, and then you have the color tokens of each player. Well, if you're pulling out your tokens, those are hits, and you can actually then die before you're able to get out. So that's where the tension in the game happens. With Clank in Space versus Clank, the regular Clank, someone in regular Clank, they could go down, grab an artifact, shoot right out, and that accelerates that tension because more tokens are being pulled from the bag. That is slightly different in Clank in Space. So, what do you think I think about that?
Well, I slightly enjoyed the original Clank more than Clank in Space. So I think, if I can remember what you thought of Clank in Space, Clank the original. Clank in Space!
Yes, it must be said like that. When you play it, it's Clank in Space!
The last time we left the crew of the Clank ship, Miss Piggy was about to.
Yes, the Clank. Yes, I know that.
I'm going to say good. You think it's good?
Gosh, I really struggled on this one.
Oh, no.
Because I've only played it once, so this is a first impression.
Yeah.
It was not multiple players. It was later in the evening, and I was totally fried at the convention, so tired. Something didn't feel as good about it to me. Now, it could have been my tiredness. We had a really good teacher. I had gotten this game, ordered it from a local game store, and he got it for me finally. And then once I had it, and I wanted to play it, and then once we played it, it just wasn't. I don't know. It wasn't all that great of an experience. Now, I'm kind of giving you all the caveats.
Yeah, it's like watching Beverly Hills Cop 1 and then watching Beverly Hills Cop 2.
Yeah.
I won't say nothing about the third one.
Well, I don't know if I liked it better or not. I like the tension of the other games, and I kind of like the fantasy theme for some reason. I like space themes. But something about the way the board was configured...
Yeah.
I kind of like the fact that you can't just escape and end the game right away and everybody else is kind of out of luck. But I think it had to do with the unfamiliarity of the board game. I'm going to say it's good. Because I hate to say not so bad when I haven't really given it enough chance, because I really think the whole system is fantastic. But I'm teetering, to be honest, on it, because I want to play it 3 or 4 more times, get a good feel of it, and then I've got 2 games that are basically the same game, and then what do? Do you just stay with the one that you like the theme better?
Yeah, it's a tough one. I mean, again, you got the modular board with Clank in Space, haven't you?
Yes, we do.
Yeah. I mean, again, I think you got to go with personal taste. I mean, if you prefer the medieval, which I did, I preferred the medieval one to the space one.
I've got all these really cool dragon coins, that we use in there for different things, and just some little tokens and stuff that tricked it out a little bit too. So that was part of it. And I don't know.
Yeah.
I really, really, really loved Clank. So it's probably me just not wanting to change. I don't know.
Yeah, you're stuck on Beverly Hills Cop 1.
So that was Clank in Space by Renegade Games.
Okay. In this game is based on, I think it's based on a Japanese poem. And in this game, you're trying to get your way up to the moon. But you're using ladders. And the way that you're using ladders is you're stacking them in a way, in a 3-dimensional kind of area. You're going to be rolling a dice. And you'll be rolling a dice, and the dice will tell you whether you've got to have this ladder only touching one other ladder or touching 2 other ladders, or it has to be, when it's placed, higher than every other ladder in the configuration. And Berkey is waving his hand. I think he needs a pee-pee. You need a pee-pee? Ooh, some happy mouth.
Pick me, pick me.
I'm picking you because the chat has talked about deck builder culling.
I think it's the Climbers from Capstone Games.
Oh, dearie me. Oh, dearie me. No.
Oh, come on.
No.
It's the Climbers.
It's a dexterity game. It's a dexterity game.
Well, this is kind of... You're gonna call it something French, and it's still the same thing. You're gonna go le climber, and then it's
le monteur. No. In French, it's called décrocher la lune. In English, it's called catch the moon.
Oh man,
From
catch the moon.
Bombaics. Oh, it's over there on the shelf. I'm not prepared, am I? Yes,
Yeah, Kabuki Kid's got it right. The Climbers is not about going to the moon.
No. So anyway, it's a simple dexterity game. As I said, you roll a dice, you take one of these ladders. Now these ladders are not just standard ladders. They're rickety kind of like Tim Burton ladders. They come in different weird shapes. Like it could be wider at the top than at the bottom. The rungs in between are zigzaggedy or cut in half. And so this game is a really tactile kind of balancing game. Again, not just balancing. You can like put one ladder through the rungs of another ladder to prop it into place. And as long as no ladders fall in any way onto the table or onto the cloud which you're stacking these on, you won't get a teardrop from the moon. And teardrops are bad. If you have the least teardrops at the end of the game, you are the winner. If you are the person that takes the very last teardrop, you're eliminated. So you could be winning.
Oh, wow.
You know, I haven't taken any teardrops, but if there's one teardrop left and you're the one that makes a ladder full and you've got to take that last teardrop, you're eliminated. And it's then the player that has the least teardrops that wins.
That's kind of cool.
Yeah. So as you can see, they're like Tim Burton ladders. You're going to be connecting them like that, or however, you know, you might have to only touch one, or you can just dangle it on like that, or you can, you know, prop it into there and like that.
But Barry, Badger, is this a game or an activity?
All dexterity games are activities. Wouldn't you say?
Yeah, it looks interesting.
I balance myself on top of...
well, you're already in love with this game. I can tell. It's good.
It is good. But it's not too bad.
Which is it?
It's not so bad. For me personally.
No. You mean I'm wrong?
You are wrong. It's another dexterity game. There's a lot of dexterity games. And I'm not really keen on dexterity games. This is one of the best ones. And most interesting one. At the beginning, when you first play it, you're just like placing these ladders on top of the other ladders, and it falls over easily. But after you try a bit more different variations of how to, as I said, like squeezing the ladder through the other ladder rungs and clipping it in ways that you don't normally clip things, it does become interesting. But as I said, dexterity games are not my cup of tea. They're games that I just, I'll play it if it's put on the table, but it's not a game that I've got to play this game. Come on, let's play it now. So
this is a game that's designed by engineers for engineers.
Probably. But as I said, I'm not a dexterity person. But if you like dexterity games, this is, as I said, one of the best ones. This and Wobbly, which is you build. It's like Jenga but with marbles.
I played that Tokyo Highway at BGG Con, and that thing drove me nuts because I do like some dexterity games, but that game that was too frustrating.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I built stuff way too high too, so I was stupid. But.
Have you got another game to talk about?
I'm going to tell you a game that I've already talked about, so you're already going to know it. So I'm just going to tell you that and tell you about it, and then you can guess what I think about it.
Okay.
A big caveat, this is from Academy Games, and they are our sponsor. This is a game called Tudor. It's on Kickstarter right now. We've already mentioned it. These are the only games I've had a chance to play, these 3 that I've mentioned today. We played this game on a Lestrade game topper up in the room, and what's really neat about the game is that it has these player shields that look like hands, and then you get to put these rings on the hands, and if you have like these 2 fingers, that's going to give you a special ability, like you can move up one or whatnot, and they're going to give you special things, which is really kind of a cool action type of idea. It also has set collection. You have to collect certain amount of kind cards to do different things, and you pay those cards. You can sit at the nobles tables. This is kind of a worker placement mechanism, but you can move up on the table, and if the lord is at that table, that allows you to take both of the actions that particular table gives you. That was pretty interesting. I thought incredibly innovative. You're also moving up the track, but people can knock you off. So there's a bit of take that in the game as well. So given that, first play, first impression, what do you think I think about this game?
You're a fan of Academy Games. I'm going to say you think it was good.
Yeah, I had a difficult time with this one because this is one of those things where you're making a judgment based on your taste. There's certain take that games that I love.
Yeah.
There's other take that games that I have a hard time with.
Yeah.
If you're doing an engine building type of thing, and then somebody comes and takes a peg out of that, and then you're just totally frustrated. I don't like that in games. But when you're all kind of doing this cooperatively screw your neighbor type of game, then I like it.
Yeah.
And so I thought the game was probably one of the most innovative worker placement games I've played. I loved some aspects of it. I love that noble, the way you made the choice which one to do the certain action that you wanted to do. I really like the player selection actions on the fingers, getting those certain kind of rings. That was fantastic. The production on their Kickstarter, we played the prototype and was nice.
Oh, right.
When you see the production value of the actual miniatures that they've unlocked on the Kickstarter, it's flipping amazing. I mean, it's awesome. They even had a King Henry for their early bird thing. I don't like early birds personally, but they had one where you got this early bird King Henry, deal. Artwork is fantastic. There was a couple times where the guy I played with, he was able to move up the track that I had been working on the whole time, which made my cards null and void that I had been working for. So there I sat. But, it's supposed to have that game of treachery. Okay, so it's designed to have take that element. Well, in that kind of circumstance, I don't like that. Mm-hmm. But that's me. That doesn't mean that I think the game is bad, but I don't know. I think the game is good, but it was not so bad for me on the first play.
Yeah.
I think I'm going to say that it's good because I think it is good, but there's some elements there. If you're sensitive to take that, it might not be exactly what you're looking for. On the other hand, it really had some fantastic elements, and I think if I played it more too, that would help you navigate those things so that other person couldn't do that to you.
Yeah.
If that makes sense?
Yeah.
There you go.
We time for one more?
Do one more, and then we'll move on to our Babble Tocket.
And do one more. Okay, in this game, you are repairing machines and placing them into your workshop, and these machines will be producing resources which are used to make dreams. Each game, you'll have a random amount of, what should we call them? Objectives, which will score you points. These points are important because the game will end when the player gets a certain amount of points. You can hire some staff to help you out, and each member of staff has a special power, and you'll be each round bidding for a machine from a lineup, like an auction. Well, not an auction, but you'll be bidding for them, and then taking them and hopefully building them, repairing them so they can be used to make resources. You can combine some of these machines as well. Combining them will double the power or triple the power of that machine, making it bigger and better. Kabuki is wrong.
No, it's not Dream Factory. I like Dream Factory, actually. But it seems like I've heard about this one, too.
Yeah? Do you know a guy called Bruno Catala?
Ah!
Yes, Ben. Imaginarium.
Imaginarium. Okay, I haven't got on this, but this sounds great.
Yes, this is a kind of resource management game. Well, as I said, you're going to be using your player piece to choose a machine or collect some coal or charconium or whatever it's called.
Yeah, what's the theme of the game? What are these machines?
These machines are apparently they make dreams, but they just give out resources like charconium, copper, wood, and crystal. That's the basic machines. There are these other machines which are transmutary, so you can add them to a wood machine and it will actually turn that wood into whatever resource you want, or it may turn it into crystals, or it may turn it into coal. So yeah, you're going to be bidding for these machines. Some of these machines will allow you to attack the other players. Some of these machines will let you defend yourself. Some of these machines will give you victory points when you use them. But as I said, your workshop's going to be limited to 4 spaces, so you can only have 4 machines. So the way to get lots of output is you can combine these machines. After you either picked up a machine or picked up some coal, you can do 2 actions. But the thing is, these 2 actions are dictated to you on this clock. You have 6 different actions that you can do. And then you have these 2 arms of the clock, so to speak, and they're fixed. So when you do your 2 actions, those 2 actions need to be in line with the arms of your clock. And then each turn, you've got to move those arms. You can't do the same 2 actions every turn. So you could, say on one turn, hire a new member of staff and then pick up 3 bits of coal. And then on your next turn, you could move it just a little bit. So you pick up 3 bits of coal, but you actually repair one of your machines. You can also break these machines to get victory points or to get resources. And the game goes on. The game keeps going, as I said, until a player hits a certain amount of victory points. Everybody finishes. You count up your victory points. You count up your resources, and the player with the most points wins.
Is the arms? Is that a predictable movement, or is that a variable movement depending on each player's cards or something?
It's a predictable movement. That they're fixed. They're fixed. So
they're fixed.
6 actions. So you're always going to be.
So you can plan ahead. You have.
Yeah, so I'm trying to think of another game which does something similar to that.
I'm thinking that too. Like Zolkin, the Mayan calendar has kind of an element like that.
Montana, I think, as well does something like that. Can't remember.
Yeah, I kickstarted Montana. I'm really excited about getting that. That's from Big Kid Games. That was really cool. And they got that new game out called Sweet Mess.
Oh, yeah.
Or gonna be coming out that was on Kickstarter, but anyway.
Yeah. So what do you think I think of this Imaginarium?
Oh, it sounds like you love it, so say good.
It is surprisingly good, yes. I've played it twice. The first time I wasn't so keen on it. I don't know what happened. But the second time I played it, I actually saw the challenge and how to manipulate my machines. Because I was picking up... There was a couple of rounds where I picked up the wrong machine and I repaired the wrong machine that I didn't want. I wasn't thinking ahead. I wasn't pre-planning. But I managed to turn it around. I managed to get the right machines which would then give me the victory points that I needed and then give me the resources that I needed to get ahead. and I was able to finish the game pretty quick. It felt kind of like it did feel very much like Abyss as well. If you've played Abyss, this kind of feels the same, where it's like there's a little bit of push your luck, but there's a lot of resource management and how you use those resources and how you use your components and how you use your actions as well. So I really liked it. It's got some nice art.
Now, the people in the chat are talking about how they were thinking it didn't fund on Kickstarter and that they possibly pulled it, or
they did pull it. Basically, they would, because most of the copies were sold in Europe, and there was a few copies that were sold in the States. So there wasn't like a big production boost in the States. So they thought they'd put it on Kickstarter to try and appeal to a different audience. Like, what we were talking earlier about, you got Kickstarter, you got Indiegogo, different audiences. And they were hoping to, just show the game to a different audience, the Kickstarter audience. But obviously it didn't get as much funding as they hoped it would get. So they decided to cancel it.
Well, that kind of thing, you run a Kickstarter today, you need to do a lot of pre-publicity and get that game out into a lot of people's hands way ahead of time to get any traction on Kickstarter nowadays. So it can't be just an afterthought.
It has to be pre-planned, and it has to be, if they do it, maybe if they just bring out the game in French, and then they hold the rest of the world to ransom on Kickstarter, and they say, this is the only way you're going to get this super game, which is #1 hit in France. Kickstarter.
Could be.
Yeah.
I love Bruno Catala, so.
Yeah.
Well, I think we better keep moving along here. We're going to move into our Babble topic. Looking for love. Looking for what, but all the wrong places. Looking for what.
And now it's time for the
Babble, 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 Berkey and Badger's board game Babble.
Why would you ever give these two monkeys a podcast? That's a really good question.
It is.
I don't think it was given to us, by the way. I think we took it by force.
You didn't want to do a sponsor break for our good friends at Arcane Wonders.
Yes, we have our gracious sponsors, Arcane Wonders. They've been with us, for a couple of years now, and obviously I have a close relationship with the owner, Brian Pope, Tony Galati. Started out with Scott Morris talks, and the folks at Arcane Wonders. And the thing about Arcane Wonders that has been so fantastic is they've put out some amazing games that they have a lot of attention to detail. Sheriff of Nottingham, now the Merry Man expansion. Fantastic game. I mean, this game is evergreen type of game. If you haven't had a chance to play that, I'd grab that. Onitama, they have the Dice Tower Essential games that are endorsed by Tom Vassell, where Tom has said, hey, these are great games. And these are games typically that Tom has found and brought to Arcane Wonders, and then Arcane Wonders have put this special treatment on them. Well, they have Royals. Spoils of War is an Arcane Wonders title. Mage Wars, another Arcane Wonders title. Really fantastic games. But they have a couple new things coming out that I think is very exciting. They have a Mech Warrior card game that has some resources, some head-to-head special abilities called Critical Mass. And Critical Mass, people are really excited about this one. You're going to see a lot of stuff. Big promotion for this coming up at Gen Con. They also have another great little puzzle type of game called Senshi. And this here is got that real quick, fun aspect, a little bit of puzzle-ish type of thing. But they also have another game that I actually got to play at Dice Tower Con last year that was called Deep Pockets. It's this great little social deduction interaction type of game, but it's better than anything I've seen. They've rethemed it to where it's called, I forget, I should have looked up the name real quick. It just came to me, but it's called something Little Critters. Can you look it up for me?
Little Critters.
Anyway, it's basically these mobster critters, different animals that it's been themed for, and the artwork is super, super cute. I've played the game and everybody loved it. So I think that's going to be a really big hit. Little critters. And so anyway, that's coming up from Arcane Wonders. You're going to see them at a lot of the shows, Origins, Dice Tower Con. You're going to see them at Gen Con, big splash there. And I know that they have some other really exciting games coming down the pike as well from some very famous designers. Just a little inside information there. That's going to be fantastic. So join Arcane Wonders at arcanewonders.com. So with that, our topic, Barry, is looking for love.
Oh. Where's love? Love.
Love.
All you did is love.
Yep. All you need is love. All you really need is love.
Love is off air. Everywhere I look around.
I just called to say I love you.
Oh. Okay, do you want to explain our topic? Seeing it was your
love
super
hurts.
Idea.
Love sucks. That's funny. Well, basically what we're talking about is games that are sitting on our shelf and they're crying out and they're saying, "Why won't you play with me anymore? What have I done to deserve this kind of neglect? Don't you love me anymore?" They're looking for love and they're not finding it. Why aren't they finding it? That's what we're going to talk about.
Love in the tub.
We could just do a song section on love.
You shine little love on my life. You shine little love on my life and set me free.
I love you just the way you are.
Owner of a lovely heart. No, anyway, so
Love Shack. Don't want to go back. Love Shack.
Come on then, you forum people. Come on, you guys. Let us know what games are on your shelf which you want to play every time someone comes around, but you don't get a chance to. Write a list in the notes, and we'll read them out afterwards.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a hard life being a game, isn't it?
You think it is?
Yeah. I mean, there's so many games come out every year, and there's so many games which come through my front door, and then you play some, and it's like, wow, this is amazing, and then that's it. You've got to move on because of the cult of the new has shoved another game under your nose because it's got a nicer theme or a prettier box, or it's just your wife wants it. Like a zoo.
I walk by my shelf of games and they cry out to me and they say, "Play me, my cardboard is warping."
Isn't that a nightmare that we all gamers wake up to? Is like someone comes around and says, "Let's play that game," and you go, "Oh yes, that's my favorite game in the whole. I've been waiting to play this game for years." And you open it and like the box is empty, or there's cards missing, or it's like,
or you think you remember how to play it, and then once you open it up, you actually go, "Oh goodness, I don't know how to play this game." But you remember how awesome it was.
Yeah, I tell you, that really scared me. I lent a friend of mine The Pursuit of Happiness, and I do not recall them giving me the game back. But I had it, but I couldn't find it, and it was a nightmare for months. I just had this urge to play. I had this urge to play it. My daughter kept bugging me because she wanted to play it because she quite enjoyed it, you know, making a new life and being a poet at the same time, doing karate lessons and things like that. And I could not find it. I searched high and low for it, and in the end I did manage to find it with the help of my wife, because we just recently got these different IKEA shelves, and they're slightly wider than the normal IKEA shelves that I had. And so the game had fallen down the back, and it was jammed between the wall and the shelf, and I couldn't see it because it was covered up with these other games. And that was a nightmare. But, yeah, all is well.
And then you found it and had to eat crow.
Yes, and I've played it a couple of times since. So that's not on my list.
Well, I think Tony makes a good point. He said all of his are heavy games. Don't get to play them, like splatter games, brass, arclight, tramways. I think his point was right. Something I wrote down. I said most of mine are longer games. And I have a tendency where if they're longer, then all of a sudden the topic becomes playgroup.
Yeah.
How many people can we get together to play a longer game? Well, that pretty much excludes game nights.
Yeah.
And we used to have our regular game night was Tuesday nights. And, you know, the summers were always a little difficult. Everybody's so busy. We cherish our time in the summer time. But in the winter, we're all holed up in the snow and we play a lot of games on weeknights. But, you know, my life has changed so much now with the business that I haven't had that same opportunity. In fact, by the end of my day, I don't have any bandwidth left. So it's one of those deals for me to try to sit down and play a thinky 3-hour game. It's not going to happen right now. So that's one of the scenarios that happens just because of length of game and game group.
Yeah, on my list of 10 games here, 3 of them would play under an hour. So time is not really an important thing. One of the other things that I would like to say is size of the game. One of the games which is on my list, which is not in my top 5, is Heroscape, which is a big game. I've got it in several.
So are we starting our countdown?
We could do, but we're doing top 5, aren't we?
Yeah, top 5. So
yeah, so this is not in the top 5.
Okay.
So this is an honourable mention.
Honourable mention.
Heroscape is just a big game, and I can't take it to a game group because it's like it's one tub and then a box and then a smaller tub. You know, and that's just one game. You know, when you go to game night, you want to take a few games. You know, so you get your bag, which is that big, and you squeeze about 7 games in it. So I mean, that's a game that someone's got to come to your house to play, or you've got to arrange it.
I'm going to give an honorable mention exactly for the same reason, and it has to do with the size of the game and the length of the game, and it's Twilight Imperium. Now, it's always been Twilight Imperium 3 for us with all the expansions. Love the game. Very difficult to get to the table because that's that 8-hour beast. You know, it takes up a big footprint, but we have the space, so that's not really the issue. But it takes a long time to set the game up, and then going back and reviewing all the rules. I mean, it's so intense that you need to do that, right?
Yeah.
So, you know, you've got a half an hour to 45 minutes of rules that just refreshment. I mean, it takes you an hour if it's a new game.
Yeah.
You know, and when you don't get back to these games for so long, I can't remember it all.
No, you get to a point in your life where there's so many games in the world, you can't recall all the rules. It's like the Dominion and other deck building games. It's like, do you start with 5 cards or 6?
Mm-hmm. Just little things, and on more complex games, that becomes more of a deal.
Yeah.
I did have a little bit of solace, though. The more I've been playing games with different groups of people, I have found this to be a very common, you know, occurrence. Very common, I don't want to call it a problem, but that it's very common that you remember, have good feelings about a game you played, you really like it, you kind of remember the basic concepts, but the details are missing. And that's very common for a lot of people. Well, I hate reading rule books, so, you know, for me to have to teach it with a vague memory, that's a problem waiting to happen.
You just have to take a big smart tablet around with you everywhere, and it's like, okay.
Oh, I do.
While I'm setting this game up, you watch the rules. I don't have to tell you then.
Yep, here's Paul Grogan. Here's Dan King. Here's Rodney.
That's what I need to do.
Here's Barry Doublet.
Yeah. I keep thinking that. I think, that's a good idea. I just download all my videos onto a memory stick, go around someone's house, plug it into their computer, they can watch the rules, and then I remember I'm living in France and my reviews are in English.
I wonder what are some of the people's in their chats, their top reason they don't get to certain games.
Yeah.
Is it time? Is it complexity? Is it gamer group?
Is it because nobody likes your games?
Yeah. It's one you really like but nobody else likes. I mean, there's certain games that I don't get to play that I want to play because I know that certain people in the group won't want to play it.
Yeah. Write something on the BGG forum, 2248, Berkey and Badger's Board Game Babble. Let us know.
Yeah, we should do a poll. Berkey and Badger, Board Game Geek 2248, do a poll of the reasons why we don't get to our games, and then do another poll to ask them about the favorite game or which games they love the most that don't get played.
Yeah. Okay.
Or they can just put in they could write in the name. We have the poll about why, but then they can write in the name. Can you do that?
I can do that. I can do
You can do anything. Kabuki's right. You get one person that just hates to play that game you really want to play, and it just ruins everything.
Yeah. Or that one guy that's always coming along with a brand new Kickstarter game which has just come through, and it's like you convinced half the group, and then the other guy goes, what about this? And everyone goes, shall we crack on with our top fives then?
Let's do it.
Number 5.
Okay, my number 5. It suffers from big box syndrome. Not normally, because it does come in a small box version. I got the collector's edition of Outlive, which is quite a big box. And to take that out on game night, it takes up a lot of space on your bag or in your car, where you can like squeeze maybe 1.5 games in its space. Outlive is a worker displacement game in the post-apocalyptic future. It's beautiful to look at, has some stunning components which are all made of plastic, bullets and tins of meat and stuff like that. And I loved playing this game, but can't get to play it because I have to either organize an Outlive night, and as I said, that someone comes around with another game that they want to play that instead. As I said, I can't take it out to game night because it just takes up too much bag space.
That's just what Kabuki Kid said. The factor that so many people in the group are always bringing something new, so the cult of the new takes over, and the older games just don't get as much love.
As much love. Yeah, that's my number 5. Outlive, or Outlive if you're French.
I've actually, this a little side note before I give you my top 5 here, but I've noticed a couple of the major podcasters out there, Marty and Tony from Rolling Dice and Taking Names, and Jamie and them at the Secret Cabal Gaming Podcast.
They're small fry.
They've actually been making a point to talk about some older games, and even Blue Peg, Pink Peg, where they're actually going back and talking about not just the new stuff. I'm finding that incredibly refreshing.
And guess what?
What?
3 of my top 5 are older games.
Okay, good point. 3 of your 5. All of mine are old.
Oh, bonus.
Yep, all of mine are old.
Yeah.
And so, I think that's, it exacerbates the problem when you're doing media and wanting to cover the new stuff, and there's a pressure to cover the new stuff.
Oh, yeah.
I only have so much time, right?
Yeah. But again, that's why we do a Good, Bad, and the Ugly, which is the new stuff, normally, or stuff which is new to us. And then we do our Knights of Babblot sometimes, because it's an older game, because we both had to play it. And
right.
We have different tastes, and we're in different countries, and
yep, different availability, all that. Well, my number 5 of games that I love that don't get to play is, I came prepared, Trajan. Can you see that bad boy?
Ooh,
Trajan.
that's bad. That is old.
This is a Stefan Feld game. I was a little bit afraid of this when I first heard about, when I first really got into this really big renaissance of gaming. For me, that was about 6 years ago. And Ryan Metzler did a review of this game, and it was like, ooh, that might be a little heavier than I'm not sure. And now I really love heavy games, but at that time I was a little unsure. We got to play this game. I flippin' love it. I mean, my daughter Maddie has played this with me. We loved it. We played it at Con of the North. We might have even played it with Tony. Tony, do you remember us playing this? You may or may not. I can't remember if you were in on that game group, but it was in that room. And it has this really cool mechanism where you're gathering your resources around this circle, and it's got the Roman theme, and it's a crazy point salad scenario, just like all of Stefan Feld's are. But oh man, we love that. And every time it seems like Maddie and I go, we got to play Trajan again. We got to play Trajan again. And it's like we don't get to play it. Now, I couldn't teach the dumb thing. That's the problem. So this isn't a matter of, this was kind of like it's almost on me. I know I could say, hey guys, let's play Trajan. No?
It's not your fault. It's Rodney's fault. He hasn't done a video of it yet.
It's Rodney's fault.
Yeah, there you go.
It's Rodney's fault. That took some pressure off of me. It's Rodney's fault. I'm just going to start saying that from now on. Everybody out in the chat, tag our show and then put hashtag it's Rodney's fault.
Rodney's fault.
Let's do that. Let's just see if we can get some guilt out there or something.
Yeah, so when was the last time you played Trajan?
Con of the North last year.
So
not this year, the year before.
Okay, so a good year.
And I can't tell you how many times we've brought it up, and there it sits.
Outlive for me is a bit closer.
Now, I don't know what year that Trajan came out. It's been around a while. I only got it here about a year and a half ago, so. In fact, I got it on a math trade.
All right.
Now it's number 4. Yes.
Okay, my number 4 is a very big game. It's several boxes of thing, and sometimes the game is actually not that long. You can die pretty quickly in this game if you are very unlucky with dice rolls and being in the wrong location and drawing the wrong mythos card. It is, of course, Arkham Horror, the original Arkham Horror. I love this game. There was, when I first got it, we spent like one Sunday every month putting it out, playing it. I either play it on my own or played it with my wife, and it was just a fantastic adventure. It wasn't so much of a game. It was more of a. It was. It wasn't a game. It was a. I can't remember what we called it. An activity. It was like a storytelling activity. But Arkham Horror, you could spend 6 hours playing the game, or you could spend half an hour. I've had a few half-hour games where we died, or Cthulhu just woke up because of a bad. Yeah,
I hear such great things about it, and I've never played it.
Yeah, again, that's the one game that if I got it out now, I'd have to reread the rulebook a bit, skim read it just to remember how to play it, because it's one of those rulebooks where all the rules are compact into this book, but they're not highlighted or separated to say, like a shortened down version. On your turn, you do this, and when this happens, do that. But it's all just meshed in. But really enjoyed it. I would love to play it right now. Although it's like 10, it's nearly 11 o'clock at night now, so it's a bit.
Do you enjoy the card version?
The card version. I haven't played the card
Arkham
version.
Horror, the card game.
I haven't played that. I played the dice version, the Elder Signs, and that was quite fun when I got to grips with it. Actually, that was on my list of games to talk to you about, but in the good and the bad. But yeah, Arkham Horror, big game, fun, hours.
Yeah, it's Scott Alden is calling me.
No.
Yep. Should we get him on the show?
Yeah, let's wing it, baby.
I should have just picked it up.
Oh.
That was stupid.
Rodney's ringing me. He's saying, it's not my fault.
Oh, well. This is what's going to happen. This is live.
You just wanted to do a short show today as well, didn't you? You got so much to do.
Can you hear it? I still got to load my trailer.
If you're busy, we can talk later.
Well, what would we be busy doing?
I don't know. You said you're on a show.
What show?
I had no idea.
Oh, it must be the Berkey and Badger Board Game Babble Show.
Oh, right, of course.
And guess who's live?
Are you guys you record live, broadcast live?
Yeah, we're broadcasting live on Google Hangout right now, and you're live with the entire world.
Oh, hey, everybody.
Hey, there he is. Scott Alden, everybody. And remember this statement, hashtag, it's always Rodney's fault.
Okay. Blame Rodney.
Blame Rodney. We are talking about, our title of our episode 58 is Looking for Love.
Okay.
And it's about our games that we love that we never get to the table. So what, Scott Alden, just real quick, what is your game that you love so much but never get to the table?
Love so much, but I never get to the table. I guess that would be Tigris and Euphrates.
Ooh.
Another old game.
I love it a lot. It's great, but I think everybody's kind of just done with it, at least in my circle. I mean, there's a couple people that might want to play it, but I'd never really suggest it, so...
The new Windward version or the old...
I've not played the new version yet. I still like the old one. I like Doris, I can't remember how to pronounce her name, but Doris is art from Frank and Doris. Oh, Doris Matteo, I don't know how to say her name.
Mateo? Doris
sure.
Day?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, there it is. There you have it, everybody. Aldi, congratulations. You win a stamp.
Awesome.
I'll touch base with you in a bit.
Okay. Bye.
Wasn't that fun, everybody?
Oh, yes. I'm awake now.
And he's going, what show? The show you were on before, brother. Okay, my number 4 is a game that is from Pandasaurus Games. It's called Yedo. Everybody see that? Yedo.
Yeah, that's rough. That's about 2 years old, isn't it?
I have this game tricked out. I've got these awesome feudal Japan coins that I got from Fantasy Coin LLC, so I love that. This is a worker placement game that I really like. Some people don't, but I really like. I just lost it. Lords of Waterdeep, especially with the Skullport expansion. I love that worker placement game, okay? This game, I think, took it to a whole new level. The whole theme of it, this circular path where all your actions are, the different missions that you can select from 3 different levels of these ninja cards and different things to get points and collect. I just think it's fantastic. But every time we've played this game, it shouldn't take this long, but it seems like it takes us 4 hours, and I don't know why. But we love it. It's just fantastic. And this game is called Yedo. And so from Pandasaurus Games, I'd highly recommend it. I love it, and I'll play it anytime, anywhere. Boom.
And when was the last time you played that?
I bet it's been 2 or 3 years.
Oh.
And it's sitting in my corner shelf by my main table where all my favorite games are. And there it sits.
Yeah.
And now it's number 4. No, done that one. 3.
Okay, my number 3 is an hour-long game. It's a Bruno Fedudi. It is called Isla Dorada, which is a game that I played twice, bought it because I loved it, and I haven't played it since, and it's been over a year and a half now. In the game, players are like explorers on this island, and they are a team. They're this one token in the middle of the island, and you're going to be bidding cards to be the leader and take that team to a location, and you have like secret objectives. You need to get to this location. If you get to this location, you get some points. And so you're bidding to win the majority and then actually moving the whole team to that location. And there's some other locations which are minus points for you. So if you go to them, you're going to lose points, but at the same time, other players might be winning points. So it's a bluffing game. It's a strategic game because these cards are limited. You're only going to get a certain amount of cards, and it is. I just enjoyed it. I love the artwork. I love the components. It's from Funforge. They've done a stellar job, and yet nobody wants to play it with me. They don't understand it and they don't like it. But it's just kind of take that game in a way.
What's that called?
It's called Isla Dorada.
I haven't heard of that, actually.
You haven't heard of that?
No.
Okay. I've got the German version, so it makes it a lot harder to read the rules, but I get around it somehow. Rodney, do a video.
My number 3, I could have put this my number 1. This is how much I love this game. It's got this great set collection, worker placement, Roman era theme game, produced really nicely from Fantasy Flight Games. Again, a little bit of an older game, but I love this game. Every time we've played this, I have the expansion for it. But this game here is called Tribune.
Oh yeah,
I love this game. I mean, these cards that you're collecting, to take over these different factions, whether it's the senators or the Vestal virgins or whatever it is, and the senators and all these different cards, and you're always collecting the highest number, but there's this auction mechanism that goes into this game, a struggle for power in ancient Rome. Yeah, that's exactly how I feel about it. I love this game, and I keep talking about it, and it's one of those deals that I'm real familiar in my mind with the basic mechanisms, but I just haven't gone back and taken the time to study the rules enough where I could just quickly teach it. And that's half my problem. I think when I think about games that don't get to the table, for me, it's like I have to go back and learn it so I can teach it well. And if I haven't played it regularly, I'm not a good teacher. I'm discombobulated with my method. If I know the game well, I'm a really good teacher.
Yeah.
I'm concise and everybody understands. But love this game. This is fantastic. Tribune, Fantasy Flight Games.
Okay. Yeah, I don't have that problem. Most of the games are on my list, I know how to teach. I could teach you right now. Some of them I'd have to look at the rules.
Number 2.
But anyway, number 2 is a very easy game to teach. It's a box in its own, but it's not a full game. It's an expansion. Would that be cheating?
Nah, it's okay.
Yeah, well, we play Catan a lot, but we never play Catan Marina. And I love playing Catan Marina. It's just a whole other element, the exploration, where you go to a different isle and you don't know what resources are there. And so, like, when you...
Marina, do you mean Seafarers?
Seafarers, sorry. It's called Seafarers in English. In French, it's called Marina. So, yes. You'll be building routes with boats to explore the world.
I had to chuckle at what Kabuki Kid said in the chat.
Sucking on his gums. No. But I love playing this version of the game. I can't get it to the table, though. It's always basic Catan or whatever new Kickstarter someone's brought in.
Do you like Knights and Cities?
I haven't played Knights and Cities. I haven't played any others. The only 2 I got is base game. I got 6-player expansion. I haven't played 6 players yet. I want to play that. But it's Marina that I want to play the most because I love the boats. I love the exploration, as I said, and discovering, those different areas of the board.
Well, I'd play Seafarers with you anytime too.
Yeah.
I don't, I know it's old school, but I like Catan.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like it. All right, my number 2. This used to be one of my favorite games. This is, we were talking about Take That games, that sometimes I don't like Take That games, especially when you're building something and something gets taken away from you and then you're screwed the whole game. I don't like that, but this is one of those games that everybody's doing it, and it's just the way it is, and there's all kinds of negotiating, and it's a mobster-themed game, and so, when did I ever refuse an accommodation? You come to me on the day of my daughter's bar mitzvah or wedding, whatever. So this game is...
Sorry, I'm a bit slow there.
Nothing personal. I love this game. This game gets brought out generally on Father's Day. Well, the last 2 years, Father's Day has been at Origins, so no Father's Day for this guy. Okay, that sucks.
Aww.
Sucks. Really sucks. So, and it would also be played on my birthday. So my family would come home and we would crank out 4 hours of nothing personal. And that's what it always was, because my family is so incredibly interactive and thematic. So when we're doing negotiation, we're in character. We are different mobsters, and we are having a lot of fun. I love this game. I haven't probably played this game for at least a year and a half, and I really want to. So that's nothing personal.
Yes, number 1?
This number 1 will be resolved eventually. Eventually. This game I really admire for its design and its fluidity and its gameplay. And I did play it quite recently, actually, but it wasn't my copy of the game. This game is Conan from Monolith. I loved playing this game. I could teach it to you now, even though I haven't played it in recently 3 months. But it is just a fantastic idea with the resource management for your energy. And then there's the whole tactical strategic maneuvering around the board, and obviously you've got the scenario which puts pressure on you. You've got the asymmetric powers of the overlord against the heroes. It's just so much fun, and I am so worried that I'm not going to get to play any more scenarios of Conan before Batman arrives at my door, and then that'll be it. Hopefully Batman would be played and not on a list like this.
That's kind of what I was going to ask you, if Batman would scratch that itch, because it's basically the same type of thing and maybe better, or...
It scratches the itch. The theme is more my thing, because I love the characters. Obviously, everyone knows Batman more than Conan. And again, I've been kind of playing Conan by playing the prototype of Batman. So that it's always left me wanting to play Conan, because I've been playing Batman, but I want to play other scenarios, not this one scenario. 12, 13 times I've played. I want to play different scenarios. I want to find out different powers. I want to try different strategies. Do you have to just run in and beat everything up? Well, can you be strategic and slip round the back here and do that? But as I said, I so want to play Conan. I so want to open the boxes and get all the other minis out and get the monsters and go, wow, this scenario is cool. This scenario doesn't work. Before Batman comes, because Batman is... I've definitely got one player for Batman anytime I want, and that'll be my daughter.
I actually, Barry was really kind enough to send me his first prototype of Conan, and I hadn't gotten to it yet. And so one of the guys in my game group was real interested in looking at it. He said, well, tell you what, take it home, learn it, and then bring it back, teach it to me. And he's ready to do that. So hopefully as soon as I get some time, we're going to be able to actually get at that finally. I mean, I don't know how long ago you sent me that, but that was over a year ago.
Over a year ago, yeah.
Yeah, it's horrible. Just horrible. Anyway, my number one, this game, I don't know why people don't talk about this game. I don't know why this game isn't being promoted now. I honestly feel like it needs a reboot somehow of publicity, so that, you know, it was widely accepted when it did come out, as far as being a good game, but it just never seemed to get the sales traction before things started blowing up. It's from Stronghold Games. I'd have to say it's my favorite deck builder. My favorite deck builder. And I hardly ever get to play this game anymore.
Core Worlds?
It's Core Worlds. And this here, I've got the Core Worlds box, but I have the Galactic Orders top on it. So I have the expansion for that. I've got one other little mini expansion, but I love the seeing of these different core worlds that you get, and the political thing with the Galactic Orders expansion just added a whole nother notch. I love the basic ships and stormtroopers you have, you know, when you're first starting, and how they you're able to level up your deck and play them out, and there's character ones that add extra ability, and I love this game. Andrew Park's Core Worlds. I bet it's been 3 years since I've played it. It's in my main shelf. I love this game. This is a fantastic game, and somebody needs to do something about making this known again, so that we all will be excited about it and have more people that want to play it.
Is it really fantastic?
It's really, really fantastic. Can I say that again?
Yeah, you say again.
It's fantastic. It's fantastic.
You know what? That's now my number one, just because you told me it's fantastic. It's on my shelf. Been on my shelf for like 2 years. I haven't played it.
No kidding. It's fantastic. Tony, Con of the North, or next time we get to see each other, we'll bring this, review the rules, so we can teach it to me again.
I think I read half the rule book, and I was like, no one's going to play this with me.
It's a wonderful game. I think the only thing that's negative about it just takes some time.
Yeah.
It's not a quick deck builder. You know, and most of the deck builders out there, they're just quick. You know, you get there, shuffle through, play your game, you're done in 40 minutes, an hour, whatever. And this is not that way. This is a couple-hour game. Yeah. But the way it unfolds, you're always engaged. It's like it's one of those deck builders that let's play it again, and you just keep playing it in a sense. It's just great. Just great.
Rodney, have you made a video? I'm not reading the rule book, because if I remember rightly.
Hashtag, it's all Rodney's fault. Does he have one? Core Worlds. We don't want to blame him if he actually has made a video, because then it's not his fault.
No.
But if he hasn't made a video, it's his fault. Is that the rule?
Yeah.
That's the rule.
We'll go to Dan King. Maybe we'll do a Dan King one as well.
Well, we can say it's Dan King's fault. Kabuki says Rodney needs to make a Star Wars Rebellion video first. Long time joke. Well, that's it, folks. You know, that's it. We have a lot of games on our shelves. We could have talked about a whole bunch of them that we love that we don't get to play as often as we'd like. All of us have limited amount of time, limited amount of group, you know, engagement. But I think one thing that's so exciting about the hobby is there's so many of these conventions that are popping up where you actually get some dedicated time, where you can maybe think out a little bit ahead of time. Hey, there's some games I haven't played. I think I'm going to bring that with, or I know that's in the game library, and let's make it a point to try that again and show our games some love.
But because I'm sure that it would be someone else like you that wants to play that game, so you're going to get it played.
There you go. Well, it's been great talking to you again, my friend. We want to thank our sponsors, Arcane Wonders and Academy Games, for being so gracious to sponsor us again. You can find us on iTunes. Barry takes this pile of stuff and he turns it into something beautiful.
Yes.
And Tony says Berkey needs to make a how-to video on making jerky.
Yeah.
That's my fault. But you can get some at Origins, maybe. You heard it here in Berkey and Badger, Board Game Babble Show. So you can find us on the Board Game Geek Guild 2248. So check us out there on Twitter and on Facebook as Berkey and Badger, Burky and Badger. And you can also go to an amazing website, BoardGamesEverybodyShould.com. Barry has some fantastic videos of games that he's reviewing. They may be games that you're not familiar with that are available in Europe. He does a fantastic job showing off videos. His production quality is fantastic. He does a great job with his explanation of rules. In addition to that, Barry has a Patreon for Board Games Everybody Should. And you can actually go there and help support Barry in the things that he's doing for the hobby. And he spends a ton of time editing this podcast. I don't need any money from it. I would love for you guys to go support Barry. So if you appreciate the show, he'd never ask me. Look at him. He's posting my Game Topper video, logo instead of me, not because he's turning red. But seriously, throw him a couple bucks. He does a great job and he works his butt off and he really cares about this hobby. So I personally want to thank you for all that, Barry. You do a great job.
I'm gonna cry.
Looking for one, all the wrong places. Looking for one.
I love you, man. I love you.
I love you too. I love you, man. You're not getting my Bud Light.
Oh, well, I don't know where to go from here now.
Yeah, you do a great job, Barry, and we appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right, better send us out.
Thank you again for listening to Berkey and Badger's Board Game Babble. This show was written, produced, and performed by Kevin Burkhardt-Smyer and Barry Doublet, as was the music too, with a little help from the Balance of Power. Although the Good, the Bad, and the Ugly theme was composed by Ennio Morricone, and background effects were supplied by Sirenscape. Enhance your gaming at sirenscape.com. Join us next time where we might have a special guest or we may review a game. But either way, there'll be more craziness and more babbling.
Yeah, thanks everybody for your comments and your support, and we'll give you a mention, especially you, Camarinia. I don't think nobody's
Capanarium.
Camanarium.
His name is Tony, okay? Tony.
Oh, it's Tony, is it?
It's just Tony.
Oh.
Yeah.
He's in
It's
disguise.
like saying Burkhardt-Smyer. You can never say it once, twice.
Burkhardt-Smyer.
Carmanarian. Camaranium.
Camaranian.
That's the way to say it.
You come and go. Outtake and a half, that is.
Tony. All right, better send us out.
Drop the mic.